have spoken a lot about the Trump regime killing innocent people on international waters, and I think it's important to continue spreading this message because 76 people are dead. The United States has murdered 76 people. And this is Marco Rubio, who is the mastermind behind this kind of talking down to the media, talking down about international law, explaining why it's okay to murder innocent fishermen on international waters.
I don't think that the European Union gets to determine what international law is. No, they certainly don't get to determine is how the United States defends its national security. The United States is under attack from organized criminal narco-terrorists in our hemisphere, and the president is responding in the defense of our country. I do find it interesting that all these countries want us to send, and supply, for example, nuclear-capable Tomahawk missiles to defend Europe. But when the United States positions aircraft carriers in our hemisphere where we live, somehow that's a problem. So I would say that the United States and this president has made very clear his job is to protect the United States from threats against the United States, and that is what he's doing in this operation.
Okay. So here's some history lessons for Mr. Rubio, because it seems like he's forgotten international law includes the United States. The United States can't just pick and choose which laws they want to obey and which laws they don't. That's not how things work. If that's how things work, there wouldn't be laws in the world, and our world would be a complete and utter disaster. So let's break some things down for Mr. Rubio, because it seems like he needs a little bit of a civics lesson. The United States is part of the United Nations. This is the United Nations laws on international humanitarian law. International humanitarian law encompasses the principles and rules that regulate the means and methods of warfare, as well as the humanitarian protection of civilian populations, sick and wounded combatants, and prisoners of war. Major instruments include the 1949 Geneva Convention for the Protection of War Victims and 3 additional protocols, 1, 2, 3, concluded in 1977 and 2005 under the auspice of International Committee of Red Cross. The United Nations has taken a leading role in efforts to advance international humanitarian law. The Security Council has become increasingly involved in protecting civilians in armed conflict, promoting human rights, and protecting children in wars. The idea of a permanent international court to prosecute crimes against humanity was first considered at the United Nations in the context of the adoption of the Genocide Convention of 1948. For many years, differences of opinions forestalled further developments. In 1942, the General Assembly, which the United States is part of, directed the International Law Commission to prepare a draft statute for such a court. The massacres in Cambodia and the former Yugoslavia and Rwanda made the need for it even more urgent. The International Criminal Court, ICC, has jurisdiction to prosecute individuals who commit genocide, war crimes, and crimes against humanity. It will also have jurisdiction over the crime of aggression when an agreement is reached on the definition of such a crime. The ICC is legally and functionally independent from the United Nations and is not a part of the UN system. The United Nations was created after World War II. It's very, very important. And for him to undermine the United Nations is incredibly infuriating, because the whole reason that the genocide has continued to happen in Israel is because of the United States continuing to say, hey, let's continue to fund the genocide in Israel. Let's continue to allow Israel to do whatever the fuck they want to Gaza. And that is because they have so much power and veto power in the United Nations. So when it comes to genocide, it's none of our fucking business. But when it comes to murdering innocent civilians on international waters, the UN can stay the fuck out of it. That's the double standards that he's trying to play here.
But again, going back, look, this is a counter-drug operation. The president's ordered it in defense of our country. It continues. It's ongoing. It can stop tomorrow if they stop sending drug boats. The Maduro regime is a narco-terrorist regime indicted in the Southern District of the United States for narco-terrorism. But more importantly, they're also a transshipment organization that allows these groups to operate from their national territory. They allow drugs to be shipped. They openly cooperate with the shipping of these drugs towards the United States and Europe, by the way, so maybe they should be thanking us. But the bottom line here is that the president is going to defend the national interest and the national security of the United States, which is under threat by these terrorist organizations.